You can start.
All right. Can everyone hear me clearly though? All right. All right. Thank you very much for your warm welcome. Dami has done quite an amazing job in introducing me, but yes, please, I'm not. I'm just. I just see myself as a strategist doing my work. Um, I'm sure we all have an idea of the topic for today. Let me just pull up my screen so that we can all get a view. Just a minute. And okay. I'm trying to share the screen on slideshow. Okay, I think I can see it from my end. But can everyone see my screen? Everybody.
Yes, we
All right,
can.
all right.
Yes, we can.
Okay, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. All right, so this topic is quite interesting for me. I'm still going to ask Dami how she came up with this, but yes, the topic is swim or drown, and it's basically about the work life. I would say it's about work life balance and how getting new into this labor system and just knowing your ways around. I think we must have all seen some of those videos where online where they say um, things nobody told you about before getting a 9 to 5, and you just see there are lots and lots of things that a lot of people are shocked about. But for me in particular, I don't want this session to be, oh, this is what you're going to do, this is what you're going to do, because I'm not that type of person. I'm not going to give, like, I'll try as much as to be instructive, but I think what I really want to get is making sure that everybody passes here with saying, okay, yes, they know that um they can handle a 9 to 5 and a proper work-life balance. So yes, I'll be using myself as a point case example. When I saw this topic, it was inspiring for me because I've heard people say, or I've heard interns that I've worked with say, "Oh, uh, I don't know how Pelumi is doing it. He's just always had that drive. He's There's chaos everywhere, but he always finds his way to stay calm and everything." And I'm like, is this me? So when I saw this topic, I was like, okay, this is something that maybe I should even think about myself and look back from when I started and know if I've actually uh, done well for myself. So yes, we present you swim or drown. Uh, and yes, it's basically telling everyone here that try not to lose your mind in 9 to 5. It might get tough, it might get crazy, but I mean, what doesn't kill you make you stronger. That's what they say. And there's no test without a testimony. But yes, I would be starting by telling just a brief story because I really wanted to know how I myself would want to talk about this topic. Yeah. So I was thinking and I said, it made me actually remember the first day I I learned how to swim. And that day was quite interesting because as a child, always liked water. I've always liked water basically. In the master's bedroom in the family house, I would always stay there, make sure the hot tub is filled up with water, and I can stay an hour like just playing in the water and all of that. And I also used to see, I mean, Olympics and movies, how people used to swim and also, but I'd never actually gone to a pool to actually swim. But on this fateful day where we went on a holiday with my cousins at Abuja, I stay in Lagos. We went to Abuja and I was still in, I think, just one or two. I was like 10 to 11 years old, one of our long holidays. And we went and it was all fun and everything. And they all decided that we should go swimming that night. And I was like, I was very eager. I was like, yeah, this is something that I actually like. Let's go swimming. Let's go and play in the water and all of that. So we went and oh, and I was so eager to get into the pool. We got in, we were playing. I had this really, one of my cousins was really, really strong. I think it was an athlete then, very strong. So he was just carrying us and throwing us inside the water. But before that happened, I got into the pool and something strange happened. I slipped. And for that very moment, I didn't know what to do. I actually didn't know what to do. I saw myself drowning and nobody, every other person, they were just playing. Nobody was aware of it. And to me, I was already like, oh my, it looks like this is the end for me because I don't know what to do. I'm drowning. Before you know it, I'll start drinking water. But luckily enough, my instincts just came in and just try and move, just try and do something. Maybe you would, because when I slept, I already thought I was helpless. Just try and move and do something. And that was when I just stood up, started moving my arms and my legs, and I got up. I was able to get up. Apparently, I wasn't even in the deep end, so my leg could still touch the floor. So I was able to just stand up and get myself back. But that moment made me realize, so what if I'm actually at the deep end and my leg can't touch the floor? What would happen to me? And that night, my perspective changed. I didn't want to play again. What I wanted to do was learn how to actually swim. And nobody was ready to teach me. My cousins, they could swim. I mean, they lived abroad, so they had that exposure. But for me, that night, I didn't want to play again. I wanted to actually learn how to swim. So from everything I had already seen in the TV and looking at them, I started thinking, how would I do this? How would I do this? I said, okay, let me just start moving the way I see them moving and the way I see it, and I know they move in the movies. And I started, did lots and lots of back and forth. And before I knew it, there was one dive that I took in, and I was able to move like a good distance from one point to the other. That's the breadth of the pool. And I was so happy. I was like, guys, I can swim now. I can swim now. One of them, they were surprised at how usually you just go into the pool. And I was like, I can swim already. I knew I moved. I moved. And they were all surprised. They said, "Yeah, now try it." And to their surprise, I did it. I started moving from the breadth of the pool. And we were moving, and I was one, they were like, wow, you're trying. That same night, I already started moving just like I wanted because I think that drowning and coming out of the pool gave me the confidence that, okay, nothing can happen in this part of the pool. The least that can happen is that you sleep and you stand up. So it just gave me that kind of confidence. And when I started moving my arms and flapping my legs, I started moving well. And my imaginations about swimming started expanding. I was like, can I do this style? Can I do the backstroke? And I started already making moves in the pool, and the people were surprised. The next day, they already started calling me a fish. They were like, they're calling me, this is surprising. I was already just moving freely like a fish in the pool because it was something I realized that I always wanted. I just didn't know how to swim, but once I learned how to move from one point to the other, the rest was, would I say, history for me. If you take me to the pool now, I will just keep moving like no man's land in it. So it's something that I was able to learn by myself, and I didn't really realize that that was like a great achievement because not everybody is able to do that. Not until I became like a full-grown teenager, and when I started telling people, they're like, "Are you serious? That you did that all yourself?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." And they're like, "Wow." So I think the essence of this story, of this inspo about myself, is actually to tell us one thing, which is starting the 9 to 5 journey will not or might not always be cute, might not always be the best. Uh, you could start off, there are people who start off very well, but from what I've seen, especially in the advertising scene, I don't know about any other industry, but I'm sure where there needs to be results driven work, uh, you would start off shaky. And for me, starting was not really the the best experience. Uh, you could be confused. I would attend status meeting, and status meeting is just like a board meeting where everybody in the whole agency gathers, just like a board meeting basically. And they are mentioning words and they're saying things that I don't even understand, and they expect you to just catch up like that. Like there was no blueprint of exposure into what the typical day life in that industry was about. So it was almost confusing, and you would get better at it as it goes by. So it was first off confusing. Um, Also being corrected, and they're about things that I don't even know what you're correcting me about for you to even be correcting me in the first place. So it was it was a whole lot of confusion. But I think one thing that stood by, and one thing my boss then always told me was that don't worry, it's not you, nothing is wrong with you, it's just a phase of life. So it was basically just a phase that so I first started working with a female boss, and she was very supportive, she was very there, but she would clearly tell me that I am not your mentor. I am not this, I am not like babysitting anybody. I will tell you what you need to do. I would try as much as possible to guide you, but I'm not babysitting you. And that was fine by me because I was literally just starting. So I just needed to make sure I was starting with somebody that knew what they were doing and somebody that was really able to like guide me properly. And what she kept on telling me was, it's just a phase. It might get crazy, it might get um, more than you thought you would, harder than you thought it would be. But trust me, it's just a phase. You'll be able to find your way. You'll be able to adjust to the working system. And it made me realize that putting yourself in uncomfortable situations would actually um, help you get better. I think that was where I got where the saying of "what doesn't kill you make you stronger" um, comes up from. But basically, challenging yourself and putting yourself in positions that you don't really have control over would help you get better. It would give you that strong arm that you need in your business. And for me, I started as an intern, NYS intern. So it was the first 2 years was back and forth, was a whole back and forth. But uh I think where they helped me. So I, as Dami said, I work as a strategist, and it requires a lot of thinking. It requires a lot of knowledge. But for me, I see everybody as a strategist. There's nobody that would walk into a place without having a plan. That's what I believe. I mean, there are times people do that without plans, and that's where you actually have to start challenging yourself. But every day you have to, even if you are going from point A to point B, you think of it. If you're trying to get a bus from somewhere to somewhere, you think of it. So I really see everybody as a strategist. It's just that I have majored in communication strategy and brand strategy. So everybody has their own way. A comedian has his own way of thinking of how he wants to take the show, how he wants to read body languages, or how or the jokes he wants to crack. So there's still thinking, and everybody still has to think at some certain stage. So that's literally why I just say for me, everybody is a strategist. And really the game changer I would say in the advertising sector or in the 9 to 5, if we were to make it broad and just in a wider sphere, is that back in school, everybody would require their personal knowledge. You are gauged by how well you yourself you're doing, how well you answering questions and you passing your exams. It's just an individual challenge. But at the office, it's it's different. At the office, they're judging you. Yes, you might be good at what you're doing, but at the office they would be judging you by how they see you. They will judge you by how well you work with other people, and they will judge you by the work that you're delivering, basically. And most people just settle for the work that they're delivering. But for me, I would say don't settle for that. Yes, it's good to deliver your work. It's good to make sure your boss is giving you task and you're completing it and you're marking it out. But what would really aid your, would I say, promotion or help people speak your names in rooms that you're not there would be how they see you. They need this, and how they see you is basically that perception of and that experience of what they are getting with you. It's not who you think you are, because you might think that, oh, you're a nice person and everything and you're delivering your work, but the experience people are having with you is not that great. So you seeing yourself from the bird's eye of how you want other people to see you, or how you want other people to experience you when they're with you, really matters. It goes a long way because that's what people say about you. And collaboration also is a key factor. Um, Collaboration is basically showing that you can work with other people and you're not a one-man army type of person. And most people, that's why I say I believe most people just want to deliver the work. So they just take a stab at it, do everything, and think the work can be delivered immediately. But you've not collaborated with your team members, you've not given them proper feedback, you've not even rubbed minds with them to even see if you can come up with something greater, because they say two heads are better than one, right? So, I mean, yes, you might do something great, but trust me, you don't know how better that idea can be when you share it with somebody and you both deliver the work together. It would be the work would tell for itself that yes, this was something that has been well thought of from all perspectives. So yes, I would say don't settle for just delivering the work. Also look out for um, making sure people have a good experience when they're working with you, and also show that you're able to work with other people, because that's what will give you the promotions. That's what will help people call your names in rooms that you're not there. So yes, these three key things are what I personally have tried to build myself. So when I started off in my career, I wanted to know what strategy was about. I wanted to get the hack of it. But I figured out that there's no one solution to everything, basically. And where I started off really taught me how to think. So my boss would usually try to make sure that my thinking is right and that it's in line with the work that we're trying to, or the tasks or the projects that we're trying to execute. So she didn't bother about the whole slide presentation and writings and all of that. She really was tackling one thing for me, and that was my thinking, making sure my thinking was right. And for the whole 2 years, yes, I had tasks that I would always deliver on a monthly basis, monthly reports, and focus group sessions and questionnaires, surveys, research, and all of that. But the main strategy of solving problems and thinking, I, for me, would say that that was what my first experience, my first agency really tried to, um, would I say, put me through. And yes, it was, I would say it was a great experience, but leaving, but it got to the point that I needed to be able to do the work. So yes, I can think right. I know a good strategy when I see it, but it now boiled down to actually doing the work. And I realized I had not gotten a lot of experience in that. And I needed a change of agency. So it just made me start going back to my CV. I started piling things up, like, okay, putting my experiences and everything, knowing that what I wanted to learn from the next agency is actually being able to do the work. And that's what I feel that's one thing I want everybody to leave here with is knowing what you want from wherever you are, if you're in the banking sector, if you're in the fintech or strategy or anything that you're doing, knowing what you want really matters. So it's not just vibes and everything. You may have everything figured out. I had the whole thinking figured out, but I needed to know how to do the work itself. So when they give me a brief, I'm able to open either my Google Slides or my PowerPoint, and I'm able to transfer what I have in my head to a document that would make people really understand and be clear. That was the major challenge I was facing in my third year in the industry. So I swapped agency to Extreme Ideas, which I'm still at now, and I wanted an agency that was very pop me the work. I wanted somebody I wanted a place that would literally give me work to do, and they gave me work. They literally gave me work. So to me, even before now, before this topic or everything, when I entered Extreme, my boss, people kept on asking me why. I said I wanted the exposure. I wanted the exposure. I wanted to really know. I wanted to challenge myself to know that I can do this thing. And for me, it was, Pelumi, if you can do this, good. If you can get into this agency, if you can do this strategy thing, just know that you are moving with a do or die type of spirit. And that was what I moved in with. So I wasn't trying to please anybody. I wasn't trying to please anybody. I was only trying to challenge myself to know that I can do what I've been tasked to do. So it wasn't a pleasing game for me. It was basically challenging myself. So wherever they gave me work, it was a thing of let's get this thing done, let's get this thing done because I knew what I wanted, and which is what I've said earlier. Like, know what you want. For me, it was that's go hard or go home. If I failed at Extreme, God knows that I wouldn't be in advertising again. I would just say that's it, that's a wrap. I'm out. But by God's grace, I'm still pushing it. I'm still here. And I really just find it interesting that this was a topic that Tammy gave me, by the way. I wasn't the one that said I wanted to talk about this. Tammy and my boss just came up with this and they gave me the topic, of which when I started reflecting on it, I feel like maybe God really told them to give me this topic because it was something that I've actually experienced. So knowing what you want would really make things clearer for you. It would help you, it would give you the direction that you need. And it would help you, keep you in check to know that this thing you're doing is for you and it's not for any other person. So yes, the mentality basically was, Belumi, make sure you get the work done. Make sure you get it done. Make sure everything is in. You have that mindset basically, and that is what I would say people who win are able to do. From the greatest 100 meter sprinter you've seen Bolt, they've all had the mentality of trying to make sure that they get the work done. That's the mindset that they carry with themselves. And that's why I've used this slide to try to establish that purpose, that what do these people try to do? Um, First off, they try. They try before every any other thing. Um, Going into the workforce before, at least before clamoring and fidgeting or complaining, at least give it a try. Give whatever work they've given you, try it out. Ask the questions that you need clarity on, um, because questions are not signs of weakness. Questions is a way to make sure you understand what you need to do, and also consistency. So don't think of the big things that you need to complete. Make sure you give yourself small, little wins that you can consistently checkmate. And that's what you need to do. It will just basically help you build trust. It will help you build trust. I personally have been known as a calm person, and I know people receive um, work differently. I've never seen myself get work and I'll fidget, or be in a situation and I'll be fidgeting. But I've seen people do that. And I'm always like, the attitude that you show when you get work tells a lot, because if you're fidgeting and you're already clamoring, then you're not, they're not, it won't look good on you basically. You need to be able to know that, oh, this is just work and it will still pass. It's something that will still be done, the work will still be done and the time will pass. So yes, try to get the work done, ask the questions that you need to be asked, and work on little steps, take the baby steps consistently, and that will basically just make you reliable. If you're a reliable person, everybody will go on with you. You don't have to be the best, you don't have to be the first, you just need to be reliable. And that's one thing that I know has helped a lot of people in the industry. So yes, I know I mentioned I don't want a list. I don't want to be mentioning list of what you should do, because once again, this is my own experience and what I have sort of learned. Another person can come and tell you, I had to list out all these things. So I know things like personal development courses is already a given. Everybody should already know that you always should and indulge in self-development, taking courses and all of that. I can't come back here and be telling you the same thing. I want to actually put a realistic scenario in everybody's minds of what you face or what you might not know apart from courses. It's really on the job. So this 4 starter packs is what I have listed. So I mentioned one in the last slide earlier, asking questions early. So if you get in the work, immediately ask questions, engage, give feedback. When they explain it to you, give feedback so they know that you really understand. And it's not even for them, it's for you, so that you yourself know that you understand what the person is expecting for you. Also, nobody told me this, but writing things down really helps. So sometimes I even go as far as recording sessions, meeting sessions, just because I don't want to write too much. I want to actually listen. So yes, that helps. Then also clarity. Clarity in the sense that not clarity of the question of the work given to you, but clarity on the expectations of what the person wants. So I have worked with different people and I have gotten to know that people sometimes just want to see what they want. So you can give me a work and I'll go and do it, but it's not the way my boss really wants it that I've done it. And what would really help you is, and this is just applying wisdom, if you really want to be able to work with people, just try and do what they expect first before you can start seeding in your own intelligence or your own perspective of things. Yes, just release it in nuggets. So if my boss gives me something currently, I know what he wants to see. I try and make sure I clarify his own expectations. Then I do what he wants. And if I'm adding anything of my own, maybe while doing the work, I got a little inspiration. I just seed it in little by little. And sometimes he notices it and he's like, oh, this is nice, this is interesting. Because they've seen that, because this your particular boss has seen that maybe this particular way is how work is approved faster. And if you're coming to now change it, they wouldn't be happy. They wouldn't want somebody that will come and disrupt things. Do you get? So knowing who you work for and knowing what they expect would really help you turn out work faster and easier. It's just this is one thing I have personally learned. It's like a hack for me. I don't try to um change things too much. I understand what somebody wants. I do what they want, and if there's something better, I would seed it in definitely. I won't do the copy and paste type of thing, but I would make sure the process is the process already. And it's a hack that I know has really helped me. And I think when you're working on, I'm sure maybe some of you are already working, you're working with people, understand them, get to really know them and what they like. You might not like the person, you might not like your boss or anything, but when it comes to the work, I think that spirit of understanding them and knowing what they expect would be the safest way to go. And also find one or more people that you can learn from. So funny how my boss that I first started working with, that I told you guys about, most of the people that I know have worked with her have called her words. They've called her certain things that I can't say online. But this is one person that I've never had a bad experience with. Like, and I've seen her being toxic. Not that I've seen her being toxic, but this is somebody that I, as a person, try to make sure I just understand her, because it made me think, if I'm in this person's position, if I'm receiving the pressure that she's receiving, or even my present boss, who's a guy, is receiving, would I be the best person? Because I've seen myself work with interns, and sometimes I don't necessarily think I'm the best, but I just try to do my best. Do you get? And I know the pressure that people are okay judging other people from afar, but when they're in that same person's shoes, trust me, they might even be worse than that person. So I have never been the type of person that would judge everybody on their flaws. All my bosses have had flaws, but I've been able to learn certain things, to keep those flaws aside and learn certain things are that I know I need, which still goes back to knowing what you want. So my first boss was good at research and making research, but um, it was the type of person that likes working on his own. So I took the research learnings from him. I left the rest. My other boss, she likes working with creatives. She likes working with copywriters and art directors, even as a strategist. That's one thing I really took from her, and also her speaking, public speaking. But almost every other person that has worked with her has called her toxic because she was good at giving the job, getting the job done. There's another boss that I've had. People have said he's on the edge with timelines. Timelines are tight. And this is also a very intelligent person. But I've also gotten to understand that it has helped me being able to do the work faster. So everything, people would make crazy excuses about other people, but what I as a person and what has worked for me is I just try to make sure I get what I want from somebody, and I leave the rest. And I just keep going and pursuing my own goals, my own thinking. That is one other thing that I would um just try to make sure like everybody here goes on with. And finally, the final truth is that nobody knows everything. Um, those people that you think they have it all figured out, trust me, they're still figuring things out. Uh, no one of my bosses It's always said, see, you see, like people making, they're entering boardrooms, they're making decisions. Like everybody always wants to be ready for that boardroom meeting and all of that. But there's sometimes emergencies come out from nowhere and everybody has to think of solutions on the spot. So it's basically that is one thing I know that I still even need growth in personally. Do you get so don't think everybody has it figured out because they don't. I wanted to have, I was hoping that there would be a hack to strategy, one hack that would solve everything, but there isn't. Different problems come out from everywhere. You need to create unique solutions for those problems. The only way I know I can create unique solutions is by making sure I do the right job. I dot my T's, I cross my T's, I dot my I's. So the process helps me. Like once you do the right audience research, once you do the right analysis, you'd be able to um, get a solve for that solution. So yes, it is just you making sure that okay, yes, you might enter the water, you might not be ready, you might not be ready for that thing, but what you can just start doing is just start swimming, just start moving, just start doing that great thing. Make the first step, basically. Take a step and just keep doing. Yes, you would definitely get those achievements or those goals that you're hoping for. Before I ask my reflection questions, I would just say um, leave the floor open. Basically, if there's any feedback, if there's any thoughts, if there's any conversation that anybody wants to bring up, before I ask these three little questions that I have just down here. I'm sure you can see it. There's a Google image down. It has three questions. It's just a way of knowing, even knowing because there are, I'm sure there are a few um line managers here who would even be working with younger people and would want to know what younger people are even looking out for and looking for the right boss. So yes, um, I'll be leaving the floor open to everyone to give their feedback. And I hope I've been able to pass a message or two to somebody here. Thank you.
Wow, wow. Thank you so much, Pelumi. Thank you so, so much. That was an insightful session. Thank you so much. I think you dropped. So I think I would like us to answer these questions on a group chat. So, yeah, I'm just going to take a picture. And I'm sure I'm definitely going to share the slides with us so that we can put on it after this session. Thank you so much, Pelumi. We really appreciate you. So everyone, please let's give a round of applause for our guest speaker. Let's just show him an appreciation. Thank you so much. I need more people to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. So before we wrap up, we would love to hear from you guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them on the group chat or you can just signify right now. So if you have any question, you're free to just let us know. This is this is a great opportunity to ask your question. Who knows, may just get a job. So if you have any question, please just signify. You can just drop it on the group chat. I'll wait till 5:51 or 5:50. If you have any question,
I have a question.
oh lovely. I'm listening. Please you can speak.
Um, in a situation where you feel very overwhelmed and you know you are doing something wrong, but you don't know what exactly you are doing wrong, you have the motivation, you want to correct yourself, but you feel so downcasted, you feel dejected, and you just want to take a step, but you don't know what to do. What do you think should be the first thing I should do after taking a deep breath and calming down?
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much for that question, Jessica. So if I hear you right, you're saying the situations that come up and you've seen that you're doing something wrong, but you don't know how to approach it or you don't know how to make the right corrections. Is that way is asking?
Yes.
Okay, so I would say it depends on whatever it is your the work is, but in a situation I find myself where I'm doing something wrong, I actually just try to do my own findings. Uh, I think knowing exactly what should be done in whatever work it is. So if you've seen that this is something that is not right, then try to make it right. So maybe talk to somebody, maybe your boss himself. And if you can't talk to your boss, talk to a colleague that you feel safe with. And just maybe there would be a an opinion that would help you come up with a better approach to doing the work or to doing something. So I know um so for instance my boss complained about people not reading their emails early or responding to emails. And this is something that we've seen one or two people make mistakes on, they skip emails and stuff. So it would now require you actually disciplining yourself to make sure that maybe before the end of the day, you clear out your inbox, you actually read emails. So it would mean that there would need to be like some sort of disciplinary measures that you take upon yourself to actually um, do the right process or follow the right process, if that might help.
Thank you. But what if you're in a situation where you're an entrepreneur, kind of?
Okay, like an entrepreneur, you have like your personal business and you're running your personal business.
Yes. Yes.
So would it be that you're not like doing your checks and balances in your income and your capital, or with, because there would be a nature of a problem as an entrepreneur. There are different problems that people would face. It could be um, the nature of balancing your income from your
Okay. What if
interest.
it's sales? Like you're not making the correct sales, or maybe you're trying to make content, but you're not copying up on the feeds. You don't know what to do. Videos are not helping.
Hmm, hmm, hmm. I see. So I would say, okay, I get that challenge because even someone like me, my sister runs her own personal business, and there are also a couple of people. I'm sure we all have that one person that sells something in our WhatsApp. Consistency. I think being an entrepreneur, consistency is just key. There are times you would do work and you would feel like nobody is seeing you, nobody is. But trust me, there are a lot of people seeing you. There are a lot of people seeing your work. It just requires that scenario or moment that would put them in situation to maybe make an order or engage with your content. But if it's about that, I would say just keep being consistent. Um, you can also try different approaches. So if it's a align with what the social handle, whatever social handle you're using, um, adopts with. So if it's WhatsApp, if it's videos that work more, or if it's clearer messages. Some people you would see them say they're selling something and they won't put up the price. Nobody wants to come and DM you about price because they might feel like if they do that and they're not now ready to make a purchase, then it just feels like they've wasted your time. So messaging should be clear on stuff like that. Just make sure everything you're doing is clear and everybody gets whatever information they need, and just keep doing that same thing. Um, Definitely, if it's something that you're doing consistently, inspirations would come up on how you can come up with better innovations or better ways or better approaches That is one thing about consistency because you're able to think. It keeps you on your toes and it will make you more creative if you do it more often. So yes, I would just say just keep being consistent.
Okay, thank you.
Alrighty, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Next question was from Akemi. Akemi, you can ask a question now.
Okay, thank you, Dami. First off, can I just chip in something? I want to add something to what Mr. Pelumi said regarding the lady's question.
Yes, please, you can.
Okay, if I'm not mistaken, she said she does not really know what is missing it, sales is not popping, and all of this P. I think there's a definition of madness that everyone is conversant with, which is repeating the same thing and expecting a different result. Am I correct? So, if you feel okay, there's something wrong, and you know you're not getting something right, and that's why you're getting the results you are getting at that moment. And I think that's where knowledge comes in. You can go online, the whole world has gone digital. Go online, learn about people in your niche, whichever business you are running. Search for people in your niche, see what they are doing that is giving them the desired results you want. Then learn from them. Feel free to ask questions from them. And I think with that, just go for courses, learn new things, and change your approach to what you are doing. So I think with that, you get at least the desired results you're expecting.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So to my question now, um, if you are in a space where, because I think a few minutes to this session, I was listening to a podcast where a guy said, if you're in a space where your boss is this kind of, we have bosses that are narcissists, where they are cruel. He said you should speak up. Like he didn't say maybe confront your boss. So he was saying something like speak up, tell him okay, this thing he's doing is bad. So I want to like ask, is it proper that way? Okay, maybe your boss is someone, no matter how much you try, it doesn't acknowledge, it doesn't appreciate you. Is it normal to like put it up to him that you should try to appreciate people? All he does is maybe complain, find fault in whatever he gives to you, whatever you are doing. Is it normal to like approach him that okay, I think I noticed this thing. Can you change? Or how do you handle such situation? Thank you.
Hmm. Almost say that's the type of bosses that you should actually avoid. So um that's a tough one because so I would say that if you find yourself in that kind of position, yeah, and I have seen people who have worked with bosses like that, but I haven't. I would One thing I was hell bent on was making sure you're doing something for yourself because at that point, if you see yourself trying to please your boss too much, like that you're doing everything that you know that, oh, but they're not just happy with whatever result you come up with. I don't know if that person would still, I think that person might still keep their pride and still, even if you talk to them, they will just require more sacrifices and it will just lead to a burnout from you. Um, that's a very, very peculiar case because I find human beings are for me, and this is, I feel like human beings are can be very self-centered. So there was this distant boss that I knew of who was like he liked he was hell bent on respect and all these things that Yorubas call like almost like a kissing ass type of boss. Permit me for that word. To just want you to serve them and want you to humble yourself and all of that. Maybe because that's the way they were trained or they were brought up. But I feel like if I walk, always seen him, and I feel like if I walk with that type of person, you have to see it wouldn't there won't be a limit to it. Even other senior line managers that I've known of that work with him, they've said that the only time they were able to say it to him was when he was doing his sent forth because they already knew that he was leaving. So if you talk to somebody like that, trust me, in while you're still working with them, they would still they will still try to break you. So at that point, you just have to make sure like you're doing what you're doing for yourself. At least you already have a knowledge of the work. Make sure you're dotting your I's, you're crossing your T's, and you're trying your best to do the right thing because work of that person. Imagine walking up to somebody and telling them, uh, I don't feel you're appreciating me enough. Oh, they will tell you you gotta do something else. That so it is the well most as basically that's what I believe. So I just feel at that point it's a thing of you keeping yourself in check and allowing that person sort out their own problems, honestly, because at that point it's on something else. It's already another problem. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay, okay, all right, thank you. All right.
All right. So the last question will be from Luna. Apologies if I go your name wrongly. You can ask a question now. Thank you.
Okay, good evening. You pronounced it correctly. Thank you for the session, Pelumi. So my question is, um, you're a senior brand strategist. What is one or what are some of the few things that you look out for when you're working a with someone relatively new in brand strategy that makes you think, oh, this person is good, even as a junior brand strategist or an intern?
All right, thank you for that question. Um so personally I would say for someone who's coming in new, what I would look for would be their willingness to learn. I think once you have an open mind, you have that willingness to learn. Basically, learning in the sense that you want to know things. So I've worked with a few interns, and I've seen some certain attributes when they try to involve themselves, like, oh, is there anything I can help you with? This or what are you working on? I think that willingness to learn um, is one thing. I also think there is a dedication to actually trying to do the work. So, in as much as you want to learn, you're also like actively engaging yourself in work and making sure you want work to be done. There's diligence in um, doing the right approach. So if you're given a task, you're doing it the right way. You find out how to do it. So I worked with one intern who I remember very strongly, Shobola. And one thing that always amazed me about him was him asking questions just because he wanted to be clear on things. And he would, I think when he even came to the office, he would randomly himself walk up to our line manager and he would ask him that we would ask him, boss, I have like, we would ask him, I already have few questions, I have this question. So being that inquisitive already tells that this person wants to learn, he wants to be clear on things. And also when it's time to actually do the work, you're also seeing them, you're also seeing their dedication to that they're putting and the effort that they're putting to doing the work. So yes, I know I saw a few hands up. Uh,
All right. Thank you so much for letting me.
Thank
Maynard, was
you.
that clear? Okay. Okay. I think I saw. They raised up your hand. Please, like, they are still on the call. Okay. Ransom share can speak. I think this should be the last question. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
My question is around the idea of forgiveness. I've seen certain situations where people leave companies and they go to another company, but they are still dealing with the angers and the uh, jaded of the previous manager. But take on that, and how do you do with forgiveness? Just moving on freely. Thank you.
okay, so I'm not sure I really got the question, but what I heard was a question concerning people getting bored and moving from one company to another and why they're doing that. I didn't really get it because the network was glitching.
Can you hear me well now?
Yes.
So I'm asking around forgiveness. Forgiveness. So I've seen situations where people have a very bad or toxic line head in a very toxic toxic company of some sort. And the people often leave that situation and they get liberated, but they are still dealing with the angers, the anxieties, the stress of those previous situations. So do you have any advice on how to deal with forgiveness and just being free and doing work again? Yeah, that's my question.
Hmm. Wow. Um. So if I would say if someone has found themselves in that position where they've had like a very toxic line and manager and they've left, but they're still having to deal with that toxicity. Um, I would say, and when I gave the example of someone that worked with, every other person had said that that lady is toxic. She's toxic. I knew she was, but I don't know. I didn't carry any hate in my heart for her because when I first started off, I just wanted to learn. I knew what I wanted from her. Um, she was intelligent, she was a good speaker, and she was just so smart. She knew how to make the work easy for herself. But in doing that, she was always people said have said that she was toxic. I personally didn't have anything in my heart against her. And I think that's one thing people carry around. So yes, the person is toxic, but I just feel like they're a reflection of their own life. So I don't know what the person might be facing, and this is to the line head manager who's toxic. I don't know the situations you're facing, but what you're reflecting is personally what you're going through at that point, not me. So I've always known as a person, I don't know if it's my upbringing, to know that I'm not, yes, you might bash my work some certain ways, but there's a form of certainty, I know that first off, even if you're bashing my work and I'm an intern, I'm still learning. Do you get? So if you're being toxic, that's your own life reflection that you're trying to show on me. And if I live there having that burden that this person is always calling me at night, this person, I see the person in my dreams, asking for work, I'll just say I don't know the blueprint to making that person not that experience move from your mind totally. But what I can say is that whatever hate you must have had from that person, to just try and know that it wasn't at your fault, because people might might have been receiving those uh toxic traits and feeling that they were the ones at fault. I feel you should have the understanding that that person is actually dealing with their own, like it's their own life experience that they're really putting up on you. So that, I believe, would be like the first step to heal. Um, and then that spirit of knowing what you want. If you had already gotten what you wanted from that person, just move on. Really, just move on. Yeah. I really had to think that question through, by the way. So yes, that's my reply to that.
All right. Thank you so much for that. So please, last question. Eniola Adebayo, you can speak now. Any other questions, please, you can drop it on the community X group chat. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dami, and thank you, Yalumi. The session has been going very well and very impactful. My question is a follow-up question with Milnat's question, whereby she asks, what are the skills that you would expect an intern or somebody that's just coming into strategy to have? And you answered the question, yet I felt like you gave us more soft skills than hard skills. So you answered with more of soft skills, and I didn't catch any hard skills mentioned. So I really hope you can maybe mention hard skills soon. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Eniola. So I actually intentionally didn't add anything, because I would say for an intern, really openness to actually work. But if you're to have some certain skills, I would say there are lots of courses out there, digital learning courses. So even before I started advertising or anything like that, or before I started my internship, I took some courses, even the basic as Google fundamental courses, and then moving on to Udemy, taking digital marketing classes. I would say that would keep you abreast with what it's like, because that way I already even started having knowledge on how to segment target audience for brands. So if it's a cooking brand, it's to the women or mothers and families. So I didn't intentionally want to add any hard skills, because as an intern, you are coming in to learn. But if you want an add-on skills that you can work on personally, I would say take those courses. I would say be a good listener, learn to ask questions, be inquisitive. Um, then also, strategists are also known to be good storytellers. So if you have opportunities to tell stories, tell it. Learn to tell stories, creating those emotions in those stories, tell it well. And just based on communication, basically, just communications and open-minded, you're good to go.
All right. Eniola was understood.
Yes, it was. Thank you so much.
All right. All right. Thank you so much for your questions. really thoughtful contributions as well. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for your time. And as we begin to round off, I just hope you're not leaving this session with something theoretical, but also with something practical that you can actually apply when you get a job or in the job or with the business you're in right now. So again, please just give a quick round of applause for Pelumi Jakonde. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much, Pelumi. So just a quick heads up, they'll be giveaway tomorrow. So if you're really paying attention today, to be a lot easier for you to win. The giveaway will be around 7:30 or 7 p.m. Right. So this is the advantage. So please make sure you stay active in the community so you don't miss any updates. Once again, thank you so much, Pelumi, for sharing your time and your knowledge with us. We truly, truly appreciate you. And to
Thank you
everyone,
very much. So sorry for cutting in. I just wanted to quickly drop it. So I had these three questions I wanted to ask. Because of time, maybe you can drop it in the community group chat because I think it's something we would also want to learn. So what do you think you struggle with as a young person? What scares you? What scares you about work and what kind of boss do you hope to have? I think this is something even line managers, young people who are growing in the professional industry would want to know. So yes, maybe you can share it in the group chat and get those responses. Thank you very much, everyone.
all right, definitely. I will share it on the group chat and I'll make sure everyone responds. Thank you for that. So thank you to everyone who joined and participated. We're really glad you came here. We're really grateful for that you took your time to be here today. All right, so that's that for today. Thank you so much and have a lovely evening. If you still have questions, you can drop them on the group chat and I'll direct them to Pelumi to respond. Thank you so much. Have a lovely, lovely evening. Bye.
Thank you,
Bye,
Jamie.
everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.